Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Railway Empire 2. We are a little bit more ahead in time as last time, and the reason for that was that the train I had set up to pick up steel resources, the steel itself, and eventually tool wasn't going where it had to go. I did everything I could to get the route going, but for one reason, stupid reason, the game decided that all the tools that were produced weren't delivered at Van Wijk terminal. Eventually, I had it. Eventually, I managed to get the tools. We got two for Groningen and one for Amsterdam. At that point, I decided to pause the game, save, and keep it for the next recording, which is this one. However, because of that, research moved up. I had the luck that we got another auction coming up, so that's good news too. And in that auction, I was able to get the consolidation. Now, we are currently using the class F, and I think type 51, I'm not certain anymore, but class F for sure, 59 kilometers an hour, which is similar to what the consolidation does. 74 tractive power compared to 92, so the consolidation will accelerate faster. Popularity, maintenance and reliability are, well, class F is more popular. Maintenance requirement 36 versus 37, so not that much of a difference. Reliability is 1% better than that of the consolidation. So overall it's looking similar. However, I know from other games this one is such a beautiful train. So I will unlock and convert all my cargo trains to it. Then we probably have to wait for the game to pick up, because that's the bad news of today. I was having a new PC, and the shop where I bought it, the guy who put everything together, made a mistake. A big mistake. Well, actually, they made two mistakes, and one was a very big one. The mistake they made is that they hadn't checked if the card was actually locked in the PCI slot. So, I got the PC, wasn't able to get graphics, had to switch to the onboard graphics to get everything going. Software wasn't installed correctly. I managed to solve that. I got the card going, used it, installed games, did some test play, and at some point everything froze. We got the static sounds, everything froze and all that. Okay, fine. So I tried to solve everything, eventually found that the card was actually not good connected. Tried to solve it, still kept freezing. So I was like, okay, I installed something wrong. Let's go back to the first recovery point made and start all over. That was a wrong decision because Windows was not activated at that point. So the very first install point we had was before Windows activation. It was also the only recovery point at that spot, at that time. I tried to solve that. Eventually was like, okay, maybe I should reinstall stuff. Started to download the right software for that, and guess what? Computer froze after 5 minutes. Rebooting, trying again, rebooting, trying again, over and over again. At some point, I got this nice black and green flashes on my screen. Then one screen didn't work at all. And I was like, this is a big problem. Went to the onboard graphic card again, had the same problem, freezing, and then after rebooting, again, flashes, and I was like, okay, everything is broken down. The problem is not the software, the problem is not the card, the problem is the motherboard. Somehow, that's my theory, somehow when they connected the PCIe card, the Express, they haven't pushed it thoroughly in the motherboard, and because of that the switch that's actually meant to block it wasn't connected, so it came out. I had to remove a protection pillow on the inside at some point, and at that point I probably had pulled that card a little bit out of the slot because it wasn't blocked. I haven't noticed that bad connection messed up the motherboard, and because of that eventually everything got fried. So that PC is standing here. It's going to be returned to the shop. They are going to check the motherboard, the card, everything. Everything will be put back into shape, and Windows is going to be reactivated, maybe even reinstalled, reactivated, all that. And I told them specifically make a recovery point after you activated Windows. So if something goes wrong, the user can go back to that very first recovery point after the activation. That also means that I'm running this on my old PC. So, first of all, let's unlock the open hearth furnace, which reduced the price of new locomotives by an additional 5%. I want to replace everything for the consolidation. And currently, it doesn't show the price here, but it does in here. Currently, the price is 72,800 when I buy it. I'm also very much considering to keep it the way it is right now. So if I add this 72,800, 68,250. That's 75% of what it had to cost. If I use the custom, it will look like this, and no, I'm not going to do that, so I stick to the old one. Then we still have 200 points left. Gentleman's Club increases the probability of higher quality saboteurs by another 5%. Very nice, very useless. I'm not going to need it anymore, because there's no need for me to hire saboteurs, because I don't have AI competition. So in that regard, it's useless. But I want to unlock all achievements, or at least the technology achievement, which means I do have to unlock this thing, even if I don't need it. This is actually a better one, but that'll take 3 months. So, engine shed, replace, garages. Doing great. Now let's get everything out. That's number one. Then we have the class F, 656 locomotives to replace. That's going to take a while. So I'm going to let the game run for a bit. I should have done this while I was explaining things about my PC actually. But yeah. Once this is replaced, we can actually continue. But this is the disadvantage of doing everything on the old PC. The game is really pushing things to the edge. And that's why I wanted a new one with a better CPU, double the memory bank I currently have, and a much better graphics card. I can do this, by the way. So this is what the train is going to look like. And I'm certainly going to like this one. Now, that's what it looks like. We got this much lower steam sound too. I've heard that's happening with lots of trains when they use the consolidation. So let's go. This too may take some time. No, it won't. We're going to crash straight into the side for the moment. And look at this. I really understand why this train was considered one of the better looking trains in history. The sound it makes, the way it looks, everything, with the drive wheels and all that, yeah, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. The thing I'm wondering about is onboard. This is not what I wanted. Looks like the two actually not looking that good. Let's drive along because done with that. just turns into the colors of the Dutch national railroad. Yeah, that's it. Very bright. Yeah, there's an invisible bridge there. In a way, it will also nice thinking. Speaking of bridges and roads, yeah, maybe bridge something. There has been a new transport video being released showing things about the transport system. And from what I've seen, two of the features are going to become very much liked by all. One feature is the fact that fast cars can overtake locomotives, which means, well, I don't know what it means for vehicles on the same route, but it means that if you're running a cargo truck line between several spots, like picking up coal, then dropping off on the steel plant, picking up iron, dropping off on the steel plant, going back with the steel to the tool plant, for instance, then back to the city, and from the city back to the coal mine. Passenger cars can overtake those trucks. So there would be less congestion with traffic, at least that's the plan. That's one of the things I know was nice. The other one is that although it's going to be expensive, you're going to get underground transport. So metros will become subways. Very nice, because that was video this week. It's a lot easier to transport again. Third feature, I said it was really good. It was something else I had forgotten about. But the way things are going now with transport is that it's more or less heading into a direction that Skylines was hoping to get to. It never worked out, so I really hope it starts to work out. Because it's certainly I'm looking forward to it. By the time it's released, I should have my feedback. At least I'm able to run it. And once we have finished this playthrough, maybe I would like that. Depending, of course, when Transport 2 is released and when I finish this one. Because with 1862 and the game will run on for another 50 years. There's a few things to do. Yeah, we will go up on the bridge then the maximum speed of that train was somewhere around 30, 70. Dropping 30%, but the effective power increase really checks a lot. Question, why do I have to wait? Would it be nothing on the side? You need to go straight ahead. Where we will unload the goodies, all 3 of the tools, which will be then later be picked up. There, 31 paper incoming. Oh. 22 chemicals, but no lines and no ceramics. Water Eindhoven. Chemicals. Nothing. Nothing? Ah, yep. Look at that. Lots of paper coming in, being sent to Bremen again. And he is waiting. Some other things. We have Amsterdam supply. Maybe to Van Wijk. But what was that one? I'm really considering this may mess up everything I'm just did. But it isn't. Shit, I've made a mistake. Can't add that track because it's a single one. And that's because I made a mistake earlier. I built the station too close to the orchard. Okay, he's leaving. He should be going to pick up the, what's his name? The tools we just delivered. So lesson for the future, make absolutely certain that I'm going to hold on. That when you want to build something that you keep enough distance between the ruler and wasn't supposed to pick up the tooth. So, always keep enough distance between the ruler and the station because eventually it will fuck up. Nothing else. Let's go in here. If I want to store this to build everything that's more efficacious than it's worth. Or even with 4 tracks station still comes down. Maybe it's a good idea if I need to build that station. Sure that everything happens before that I got 6 tracks of cargo instead of 4. It's certainly blocking up over here. That's not good. But I won't do that until we finish here. So we probably have to see this for another 2 episodes. Because I'm afraid that this won't be delivered for New Year. Most likely in New Year. Because that's somewhere around 14 maximum. 14 January. That's a bit lower. Ah, yeah, that was what I was thinking. The other feature I saw in that video for Jasmine is that they have a complete new way for roads. I'm not sure that it goes away. So similar as for the railroads. But the roads they have a setup where you can actually choose a certain angle and get at the starting point you get angle choice option. And from what I saw is 45, 90, 135. Okay, no, not 180. Of course, 180 means eternity, but you've got the options for 45, 90, 135, and at that point simply click at the starting point, click at the finishing point, and once that's done, look at the size of Amsterdam. When that's done, the game will automatically draw the entire thing. So in 1862, when there was civil war, they started the Pacific Railroad Act. Eventually it was both, but very much the latter. Whoa! Let's see. Last time I left you guys, we were somewhere around here. Or here, I think. Well, something like that. So in that years we dropped a little bit, but rate is increasing again. Simply increasing because of I'm finally able to transport the tools, or at least once. Passengers is increasing. Yeah, Amsterdam is growing, so we got that one. That one. Mail is somewhat increasing. No, dropping, but production went up. If I'm able to make tools, I'm not losing money on the steel and the lumber anymore. So that went up. So we had a 3 million increase here, basically because of production. Everything else remained more or less the same. Yeah, we had that one. We bought or upgraded the factory in the online offline part. And we have, of course, this. This is still a problem. 87 now because of the new locomotives, but it's still a problem. Oh, yeah. Company value 3.6 billion. I'm basically doing what that newspaper article just mentioned. Stock price 37 million. That's going up and down. That one's going up and down, but this is the point where I had the tool industry set up, and as you can see, things were going bad. Now it's going better. Same up here. We had this dip, and things seems to be more or less equal. But this remains a problem. Two tracks to choose from. And there it goes. That won't be waiting. Passing through. And then all of a sudden things are going better. So only because I lack two tracks, which I should dedicate to cargo, things are messing up right now. Then as soon as the waiting act is done, increasing distance is done, everything starts going more smooth. So that's good news. You can see it really here, what's happening. We have a look at the warehouse. Still lacking ceramics and the planks, and we still have paper, but this is the distribution it's set for currently. 6 for Hanover, 2 for Bremen, 2 for Gütersloh, 1 for Eindhoven. And the same up here. One for Amsterdam, 6 for Groningen, 3 for Bremen. But what I can... There he is. Shoot. Stop that. He's heading it wrong. This is one of the problems. That at some point they're picking up goods. It's heading in a completely different direction. But at some point trains are picking up goods meant for a complete different stop. I can switch to manual for that. I'm not certain if it actually helped. That one is increasing distance most likely. So what I need to do is figuring out why I don't get furniture and ceramics. Let's see. Negative balance, which one? Furniture transport. That's the problem. Woods. Of voorbij. So it's basically running around with paper. And because of that, it's doing all the stops until it delivers the paper here and then returns. And at that point, it returns to worms, where it loads up paper, which is meant for here, so it doesn't pick up everything else. As a result, each and every train is not doing what it has to do. Worms, of worms, another load of paper, and that's how things go wrong every time. Lesson for today, number 2. Every time you add a new station to the line, and more important, every time you have say a new production along the city, check all the routes visiting that city, because sooner or later it may mess things up, like this one. Get this. That one is running empty. A little bit. No, it's not that bad. This one is running empty. That one is being served. That one is on its way to deliver the paper. I might as well jump on this one. Follow this one for a while. See if it actually works out, if we start delivering lumber to Frankfurt. Just realize something. No. However, just realize something. It's the little things that make the mistakes. We've got 2 tools coming in. It's nice. So, the first station over there. That explains the losses I'm making on industrial land. Yeah, it's there. Usually if you pick up the paper, it will never be able to get now I'm in transport lumber planks plan, so it's likely that the furniture industry will start going. That furniture industry will start supplying the warehouse furniture meant for several others. So, well, not certain if the first train will get in. Can't see anything. One of the trains after this one, that will notice slowly increase the speed of the dropping that it actually climbing a little bit. Means we have 9 less train ahead of us. It's slowing us down. Doesn't matter much. There's our loading. No, it's going to boom. Okay. There we go. Some water. Ah, that. In order to get use less water, we will use that. I was feeling for a moment that the train had ahead of us was actually going to pick up cattle, and since it was completely no bit, it would pick up cattle, which means my meat industry was working at 20%. I was wrong. nice to see that. Though I don't consider myself a master of this game, absolutely. But with all the experience I have on the transport games, it's nice to realize I'm still able to make mistakes that have so much influence on the game. First thing I'm going to do now is see if my lumber industry here. No, it's broken. Reason? Not enough of that. Should start running at some point. Bingo, there we go. However, 20%. So before we're actually able to start picking up any planks, we need a better supply of lumber, which is currently at 30%. Let's see, Castle Frankfurt supply. I think I know my problem. Let's find out. Frankfurt, good to know. Frankfurt, don't know. Glass. Frankfurt. Gold. This one is moving in from Lucas Low at the moment. And the problem I was having is simply lack of trains. So by the time it gets to Mangold, we have trains waiting here right now. One loading up. But this explains why my plank industry wasn't working. A lot actually, because I have multiple trains, multiple tracks, single trains. See, there's another one loading up on paper. So only 2 trains. Yeah, I really need to track all my lines by now. Basically, I need to go to each city, check the stations. Growth is good, okay. Give it another stop at Montgomery. Just in case. Yeah. Reason, if I don't need salt in Kassel, it will hold up salt all the way till it gets to Montgomery again. I'm following that one while I'm also waiting for Frankfurt to actually end up with number 7 coming in, okay, 30%, no planes yet, 80%, so it won't be long before any train is going to transport planes here. Supply 2 is actually the which was the one we were following first. Hang on. That one is heading direction. That was the one I was following. I think. Yeah. have lumber waiting here. Sorry, planks. So that's working. 100% for the city, so that part is working. The trick is this. Like I said, I may need multiple runs to get it going. And I'm not going to wait for all of that. But we have the first steps going. There is actually lumber turned into planks right now. Hopefully, at some point I'm having that many planks. I can pick that one up and start supplying with planks so the furniture industry start coming. But this shows that the further you get into this game, the more complicated it's become. Because you need to apply specific roots that actually push further away. Will have to use warehouses. I can, of course, set up industry like picking up the lumber, taking it to a city, turn it into planks, taking it to another city and supply city number 4, then going back to city number 1. The one where I turned the lumber into planks before going back to picking up the lumber again, something like that. But a lot of things like that. Basically, if I want to do that, then Pearl is going to supply everything north of it. So I will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more or less 7 trains heading there. Sure if that's a good way to do things. The positive thing is those 7 trains can pick up goods. With that, in this case, my food drop it off, so I am certain to have 12 meat, beer, things like that going on. Maybe it is more effective, maybe it isn't. I think this is actually better. And the reason for that is, simply said, it's more complicated. I think it's more effective in the long run. More complicated for sure. things don't work out. As you can see, it will take quite some time to recover from that. But first, finding my hub. Because a hub and spoke system like I do like this game is not possible. But warehouses for that pay for it, so it's not possible. Let's give this time actually able to farm plants. Very nice. Good luck. 20%. So everything we brought in is done. Finish these now. So I need a locomotive one. Where something is going wrong. This one isn't. Next off the front. Let's see what this one is doing. Not too waiting for Van Dijk. That makes it. So resupplying to do. Still weird to see that big ass American locomotive is actually more slower than tiny European. You would think that consolidation would actually be faster, stronger, faster, more swift, and a larger volume would improve everything. Let's see. %. But we do have planks here. Come on, pick it up. Yes, 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 yes. Finally. Increasing distance. Yeah, of course. Which one? Because those two are still waiting. So we finally got planks and everything is locked. Ah, there we go. Finally, that's follow. The curve is also the last stop I will follow today. So I'm not sure how much space I have. Also the disadvantage of having I'm not sure how long recording like that. I may actually keep on running this line up to the point where actually do have furniture. Similar to what I did with the tool. And as soon as we're able to produce furniture and actually being able to pick it up, I will be picking up the recording again for the next episode and follow that up from by hopefully also see distribution. So I have no idea which way to go and up. Probably 86. But at least are able to flight. That's good news. Just saved ourselves points and almost but that means we unlock this one. Now I can go to units and the cost charge does not cover for the well-being and the use for first third, 5%. Going down 5 or so I don't need it at some point I need to go there anyway. I can unlock the section between 7 hour over to 8. That's that see power. then mines and what the progress was. So, because that one has dropped 25%. So that means you're going to have price balance anyway. You're going to nice have positive balance because we just saving ourselves 5% out of expenses. On the other hand, it also means we will basically saving at personnel cost, although we're expanding our trains. Oh well. Whoa. See, that's industrial plus. Drop 5. That one dropped 2. Probably because I don't need all the papers. Expenses are the same as the income that we'll see how things are going over time. Right. Next. Let's pause this one already. Beer industry. Now it's completely working. 450. 4.1. That's okay. 0%. See? I just solved this. This was the problem. So the beer and the chemical plants are working perfectly. Furniture isn't. That's solved now. but it will take some time before we actually get the furniture going. And I'm going to need toys at some point too. So this one is unloaded and will continue without anything. Number one is still waiting here because this is really a completely messed up point. Number two is over there being loaded. I think I remove this one. And instead we'll add toys later. So number three is heading home. Number four is what we have. So this one, everything was waiting for those two. Increasing distance, which means everything is messed up. The reason that happens is simple. They have to wait here for too long. So they are waiting to get loaded, unloaded. Then at some point they end up standing here all too close. There are multiple trains. Load up, one train leaves, but the other one have to wait until distance is done. So instead of having 4 tracks, I only have 2 or 3 tracks available. I'm already missing a track. 2 tracks I use for passengers, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And out of those 4, 2 are basically used for flying. Everything wants to run at the same 2 tracks, which is absolutely nonsense. Let's see if I can actually get this. We're going to work on track number 2. 2. Heading to track number 3. The problem, everything wants to go to those tracks. Supply 1, supply 2, supply 1, it's only passing through here. Track number 4, track number 4. Good. that. That way I keep number 5 free for anything. That way I keep anything available for track number 5 available for passing through. That's nuts. See what's happening? Way too many goods loaded here. One, two, and 3, 4. There's the other one. So we will have the same problem I had with the previous lines, that at some point it will simply wait to increase distance. Let's see if it works. Yeah, the servicing is also a problem, but it's something I really need to add to this train station. Looks like it's working though. Looks like it's working. It was waiting for the one on payment, which was servicing. I can service at least 3 trains at one run time. This one should be able to pass through because there's still a single track. So servicing 3 trains. And having space for one train to go on through. That one's loading up. Okay. Waiting for the train to exit. Okay, that's normal. Track is already free. Then we got another one coming. Which one is that? Another furniture run. So if furniture 1 is on track 2, furniture 2 being put on track 3. Well, look at this, it worked. Not 100% yet, but it worked. Because that one is already moving in now. That's waypoint 5. Yeah, I know why. I know why I'm using waypoints to make sure that it was making this decision in the end. Okay, last check. So they're all heading back right now. Okay, well, we'll see what happens next episode. For now, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you've been enjoying it. I did. It solved some problems. Not everything, by the look of things, up here. Though, not everything is working fine, but things are improving. So we'll see what's happening next episode. Like I said, I will continue up to the point where we're actually able to get furniture aboard this train. Then we start following it along. See what happens next. So for now, thanks for watching. Have a good week, everybody. Hope everybody was having. No, I hope everybody is going to have a very good change of gear. In case you're playing with fireworks, be careful. Be safe, and see you next year. Goodbye.